Hi everyone, welcome back to another Just Ask Jen video. I'm designer Jen Gallacher, and these videos are hosted by Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. The question we're going to answer today is how to design on the diagonal. And to do that, I'm going to be using this charming collection from Fancy Pants Designs. And it is a circus themed collection called Everyday Circus. What I love about this collection is that actually I've never been to a circus in my life, but they have themed this around your life is actually a circus. And any of us that have family members or friends can relate to this particular theme because life always does get a little bit crazy no matter how organized you are. So let's look at some of the elements in this collection. To see all of this collection, be sure to visit the Fancy Pants website. These are toppers, and they can be used in cupcakes or on your layouts, but this is a fun new thing that they've started producing. They have small decorative tags, and these are one of my favorite embellishments that they make. I'm always addicted to tags. The flare badges are nice and big and full of color. You'll notice in this collection that the background color is not white. It's actually a cream color, which makes these kind of muted and vintage looking, which I love. These are their brack cards, and they're 3x4 and 4x6. So whether you're a pocket page journaler or you like to use these on your layouts, or you even want to create mini albums that have these elements in them, this is a great selection of items. These are their pattern envelopes and folders. Come in a couple of different options. These are their larger tags. Here's all the different patterns. I do love that they have different looks to them. Their ephemera packs are always jammed full with lots of fun things. They're fun little animals. You could go as thematic as you want, or you can do things that are less thematic, like this place is just a few clowns short of a circus. So a themed collection can be used for a non-themed layout. The button set includes some banner shapes. You can just use them with the adhesive on the back, or you can pull off the adhesive and you can actually add thread if you wish. These are their library cards. Again, they do have inserts in them which can be removed. You can put your own journaling inside. You could add photos or other ephemera that you have at home. They do have a 6x6 paper pad. And you'll notice that they have scaled down the patterns so that if you're doing a mini album or you want to do layering or die cutting with the same patterns in their collection but in a smaller scaled pattern, you can do that. There are several stickers that come with this collection. These are the label stickers. Again, notice the kind of creamed background. This is a wood grain called Gray Wood Large Alpha Stickers. This is their larger alpha sticker sheet set, and there are plenty to do lots of things like cards. These are the elements that are included in the kit, and you'll notice that some of the things I'm showing you, the sticker sheets, there's going to be some corrugated cardstock as well as the pattern papers, are all included in the collection kit. So that's a great thing to get if you're just getting one thing. Now this particular collection is both good for girls and boys. It can be used for going to an event or everyday scrapbooking, and there's plenty of items in here that could be for a completely non-thematic project. So you have plenty to work with. I really love this collection, and I specifically requested this collection because I've wanted to work with it for some time. So lots of different pattern papers. Pattern papers that can be cut up like these border strips, or pattern papers that can be used as is. And then here are the corrugated pieces that go with it. Corrugated pieces are great for background, for die cutting, for adding elements, framing photos, lots of different things. You can run it through a manual die cut machine, and depending on the blade, if it's new enough, you might be able to run it through your Silhouette or Cricut. So let's go ahead and get started creating a layout on the diagonal by using this fun circus collection. So to start the layout, when you're designing on a diagonal, you need to pre-plan a little bit. You need to determine how much of a diagonal you want. If you want a more gradual one, or if you want to go straight across the page, you need to think about how much of the layout is going to be on the diagonal and if any part of it is going to be straight on. I'm going to do this layout partially straight on and partially diagonal. First piece I'm going to start with is this die cut piece. This is a Sizzix die cut. It's a manual die cut shape. Spellbinders also makes beautiful die cuts in similar shapes, as well as Silhouette has shapes like this that you can download for your digital die cut machine. Now you'll notice that I cut this from the 6x6 paper pad, and I did that because, again, as I mentioned earlier, I liked the smaller print and it is scaled down. I'm going to attach this at the top of the layout. And then to the center of that, I'm going to add just this little orangish button. Now again, I mentioned there is adhesive on the back. If you wanted to run thread through it, you simply remove the adhesive. Then you would take any kind of twine. I'm going to take some crochet twine here. And you just cut it off and thread it through just like you would a normal button. You'll notice I'm keeping the little dot onto my thumb here because I'm going to reuse it again. So we'll just thread that through. And this gives a little bit more texture to the elements. So go ahead and tie this into a bow. And then reattach that foam adhesive. You can pull the bow tight and then we'll add, or rather remove, some of that excess twine once we get it onto the page. Okay, so that's how you can change and alter one of the buttons from this collection. Now at the bottom of the page, I'm going to add a strip of the corrugated cardstock. Now you can run this through your paper cutter, but what I find is it doesn't cut all the way through. So I start with my paper trimmer and then I will come through and just kind of cut off any unclean edges. I'm going to take some more twine and I'm just going to wrap it around a few times and then tie it in a knot. It's very subtle, almost unnoticeable, but it just kind of brings some more texture and repeats an element that I've used before. This particular one is a little bit more nubby. It's more of a jute, and that works well for this particular layout. To attach it, simply run it through the dot adhesive. If it doesn't seem to stick, add some glue dots or some double-sided sticky tape. But just adding a strip of that at the bottom gives it a little bit more texture. So now let's create on the diagonal. What I decided to do is kind of create a pennant, and it'll be kind of a curved diagonal. And I started pulling embellishments. One is a 3x4 card. Then I pulled a few pieces from the 6x6 paper pad. I pulled this keyhole pattern in a mustard, or rather tomato red. And we'll just cut off the ends to create a better pennant shape. And then I pulled a blue wood grain. Now this particular pattern paper from the pad is not double-sided. So you can use the front side without worrying about if the back side has patterns on it or not. And I'm just going to attach these two together before finishing kind of the basic layout to show you how it works. Now this was one of the cards, and I've already pre-printed some journaling on it, and I planned it by figuring out where I was going to put other embellishments. Then I have a card that is about 3x4. And start squishing things together and overlapping things. And I usually create the layout a little bit beforehand before actually putting on my layout. Now once I kind of get the placement where I want, then I can start adding elements. And I leave as much layering as possible. So if I leave the layers on top, then I can place items below with actual adhesive on it. So again, this is just one of the journaling cards. And want to overlap some of the items. And one thing you can do is just put adhesive kind of in the center and not on the edges, so that when you place items underneath, you're not worrying about lifting that element back off the page. So you can see we're forming this curve right here. And I picked this particular photo of my son because of the title we're going to use later. He is a little discouraged by the insanity going on around him, and I thought that was kind of funny. Now I'm creating the illusion that there is some kind of string or element that's holding all these items in place. And to finish off that look, I'm going to take one of the buttons from the collection, and I'm going to add it to this element. We're going to pretend that something is running all the way through this. You could actually run thread or twine through all those elements. I have another button from this collection. And again, one thing that's just a designer note is you'll notice that the two buttonholes run parallel to the elements here. Now let's start decorating up some of these elements. I'm going to take another one of the tags. I used one here, and I'm going to use one that says the sky's the limit down here. And we'll place that. You'll notice I'm trying to overlap this bottom area a bit. Now to dress this up, I'm going to use a sticker. Now this is from the label stickers, and we'll go ahead and pop dot these, and it's going to slightly cover the phrase that says the sky's the limit. And the reason why I'm doing that is I wanted to bring some of the tomato red down to the bottom of the page. And so I'm doing that by layering some stickers. So again, just remove the backing off the foam stickers and then place it right across the top of the phrase that already exists. So you can see it just creates some fun layering. Now some elements from the button stickers. We're going to take this game token, and then we'll take some more of these little buttons. And if you don't have buttons, enamel dots will work. You can do mist dots if you sprinkle them on. That's a fun thing that you can do. To the top of the photo, I'm going to take one of the label stickers that says enjoy. That brings some of the yellow up to the top here. And then onto the tag, I'm going to use this Life is a Circus, and I'm going to off-center it just a little bit. Up here at the top, I have the string running up on top of this journaling card, but I wanted to add another die cut, and this is one of the pennants from the ephemera pack, and we're going to cover some of that string. We don't want to cover the phrases that we've picked, such as send in the clouds and enjoy, but we do want to run that across. And if you want to give it a little more dimension, consider pop dotting it, which is what I'm going to do. You'll notice I'm not adding pop dots or foam stickers to all of the pennants. You don't need to do that. It's a waste to use too many. Just enough that it doesn't flatten and stick to your page. So let's place this down again. This time it is a little bit raised, and I do like that a lot better. So I change my mind from time to time. Again, you can trim off some of the trim to get it where you want. Then below the actual photo, I'm going to use one of the die cuts that says, this place is just a few clowns short of a circus. I mentioned that when I was showing the products. And we're going to mount that onto the photo. And I love it when there is an embellishment that actually does some of the work for me. Now here is the diagonal that we've created. Now I wanted to go with a really, really big title. And so I used my silhouette machine, and I've cut out elements here. And you'll notice that I have a couple of different colors for the title. And I picked colors that matched the actual colors in the papers. And that's how I determined what colors to use. And you can mix and match up which letters you want to use. You can use the blues or you can use the greens. It's up to you. I'm going to switch that out for one of these. And then I wanted to bring in some of that tomato color. So we're going to go ahead and do part of the title in a red that coordinates. And then for the end of the title, I wanted it to be like a sentence. So I just took a traditional hole punch and I punched out of that same tomato cardstock, and that will form the period. Now to adhere this to the page, you can do a couple of things. I'm just going to take the back of this photo paper, it's a scratch piece of photo paper, and I'm going to start by adding adhesive to this welcome die cut. Now do be careful when you're adding dot runner adhesive or any kind of adhesive that when you put it down it pulls, because you can rip a fragile die cut. This particular font is called Bira, and I welded the shape together. I typed welcome and then I welded it together. Then we'll add the word to. And the reason why I went with the die cut rather than the stickers included in the collection kit is the larger stickers from this particular collection are the same wood grain as the pattern paper that I've used in the background, and they just would not show up. Now before I place the my word, I want to get the placement for the circus word perfect. So we will do this one. And something fun you can do is, instead of doing it on a straight line, is to kind of make it a little bit crazy, because I'm trying to convey the feeling that things are a little insane. So now I don't have a particular pattern running in this title. I'm just kind of playing around and adding different colors. It makes it a little bit more chaotic, which is the exact look I'm going for. If you wanted something that was a little bit better of a more cohesive look, you might go with the same pattern, such as red, blue, green. And then you can place the S down. Another option you could do that might be fun is that you could add a machine stitching line through the bottom part of the text to hold it in place, whatever your style is. And then once we have the circus word down, then we can go back and do the my. I find that I like to do the larger letters first, and then I can fill in the visual space with the other letters. Give it a little bit more space here. And if you don't press down too hard, then you can come back and you can change your mind and change the placement a little bit. You can also run these letters through your Xyron and move things so they lay flat and exactly how you want. Once you get your title adjusted, then you can see how the layout looks when you combine both a diagonal look with a straight on look, and it's just kind of a fun look for a layout. It's a little bit more visually interesting. So thank you for joining me for today's Just Ask Jen video. Be sure to subscribe to the Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine YouTube channel so you don't miss out on these videos, and be sure to visit our blog for additional inspiration.